Well, good Monday morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Inspiration for Today, and I sure hope you had a very nice weekend. Now, what we're going to do this week is a continuation of what we were doing last week, and that is we're reliving the 50th anniversary trip that Diane and I took back in 2021. And we love having you with us. We had a lot of fun with it when we did it, but we aren't traveling nearly as much anymore. And so we thought for variety and we have a lot of new viewers who never saw this trip. And for those of the rest of us, we we probably don't remember everything that we saw anyway. So we're going up the California, Oregon coast and eventually end at Lake Chelan in Washington. But today we're along the coast and I love this show. It was amazing what we saw and I loved filming it for you. And so sit back, relax, enjoy. It's all about God's power. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day. Today, well, actually, before I even show you what I found, and we were just driving along, we had entered Oregon, and I came across a thing where a small town, and all the cars and a bunch of people had parked and were looking over the seawall at something. So what did I do? I stopped and looked over the seawall. And I'm going to show you what I saw in just a couple of minutes. But I wanted to talk about God's power. And that's what I felt was on display that day. But when you think about God's power, I want you to remember this. One of God's attributes is that He is infinite. Now, if you are infinite, then every quality that you have is also infinite. In other words, that's why God's wisdom is infinite. His love is infinite. He has power, therefore His power is what? Infinite. So God has the ability to do whatever He thinks wise, and that's why, of course, He is always, out of love, always watching out for you. And He can do whatever He deems is necessary to do. Now, in the Bible, that power is often on display. It was on display in creation, wasn't it? I mean, He made everything out of nothing. Actually, that is the ultimate display of power. He parted the Red Sea. Can you imagine walking through on dry land if you were one of the Israelites? Wow, that's amazing. God's power. He has the power to make prophecies come true hundreds of years after they're predicted. And right now, we're still waiting for prophecies to be fulfilled thousands of years from when they were made. That takes tremendous power to coordinate all the things that happened. But God can do it. He did it in Jesus and His whole life, didn't He? It was awesome display of power. Now, I like so much Psalm 147 at verse 5. This will be our verse for today. And he says, "Great is the Lord and mighty in power. His understanding knows no limit." I like that the psalmist tied those two things, actually three things together. That He is mighty in power, makes Him great, and he picks one of God's attributes, His knowledge, and says His understanding knows no limit. Knows no limit. Neither does His power. That's just how God is. Well, we've seen God's power, haven't we, in answered prayer, the way that He watches out for us, the way He directs our life. But I came across this portion of land, you could say. It wasn't land, it was right at the sea coast, where God's power was totally on display. And it was in the waves. God creates the waves through the wind, and when it came to crash up against the shore, the result made me just be in awe of Him. Of course, I love the ocean, and I hope this comes through. I just tell you, as I filmed this, every wave, it was so loud, it was so big, kind of like an explosion. It made me back up and be almost frightened of the power. Every single wave.
Consider all the worlds thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God, His Son, not sparing, sent Him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross, my burden gladly bearing, He bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I will bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, my God